A very good evening to all those who have joined us for today's webinar, which is on the art of writing the papers professionally, to be taken by none other than everyone's most loved professor, C.S. Sagar Madan sir. To give you a brief introduction of Sagar sir, he is a distinguished member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He has also done Masters in Law and is a Chartered Financial Analyst from ICFA. He is a full-time attorney in practice. His areas of practice include securities laws, corporate governance, IBC, secretarial audit, due diligence, corporate restructuring, resolution of corporate disputes, and corporate funding, to name a few. In the past, he has been associated with the Times of India Group, Tata Diesel, Indian Express newspapers, Khare Legal Chambers, and Mehta Legal and Advisory Services Private Limited. Most importantly, for the students' fraternity, which also includes me, he is one of the most sought after professors in India, yet so humble and down to earth. In fact, for the executive batch of the year, December 2011, he's a one-man army who took sessions from morning 8 to evening 6 on Sundays, even when he was suffering from jaundice at that time. He not only took his subjects, but also made sure that he finished the subjects of every professor who had left us in between. And whenever I meet CS students, I love to talk about him. I love to tell everyone that he is the first pillar, the number one reason because of whom I have the privilege of being a proud member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. I can go on and yet not fall short of words in praise of my professor. With this, I welcome you, sir, and convey my deepest gratitude to you for accepting my request to take a session on how to write papers professionally.
Well, thanks, Shashank, for this praise, and thanks. And I welcome everyone over here. I hope I'm audible and you can see me over here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Fine. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir. You are.
Fine.
Sir, sir, I have muted others so that we don't get disturbed during the session.
No, that is fine. If they are, I'm audible enough, that is fine for me.
Okay.
Fine. The session that we are looking into is how to write the examination papers. Latest announcement by the Institute of Company Secretary is that the examination is postponed to the month of August.
Yes.
So you will be having your papers in the month of August, but that, irrespective of that fact, we still should know how to write our papers. So looking into the subject, let me clear you something about writing papers and understanding the concept of writing of papers. Let's see this. Firstly, try to understand that every examiner is a human. Okay? So when I'm putting my thoughts in my paper and I put it to the examiner and I'm not getting the required marks, what happens? I feel that I'm ditched. I feel that the examiner is not giving me the deserved marks. But remember, they are humans. So when an examiner is a human being, don't start blaming them for their everything. It's somewhere deep down our fault, or maybe we are not up to their mark. So one thing you have to understand. Secondly, the examiner being humans, they are customers. So make your paper as far as possible presentable. And I'm saying presentable, not decorable, which means don't use multicolor pens. You just have to use one color pen. You can make your paper presentable. That is, how do you put your paper across to the examiners? So that person feels that the paper is of a student who knows the subject. And the other concept that one has to understand, that when a person or an examiner is checking the paper, he looks into the concept that whether that student has understood the subject or not. Remember, examiners do not carry, and the institute do not carry any kind of vendetta, any kind of personal grudges against the student that I have to fail the student on every occasion. No, not that way. The failure is a part of our life. I have flunked, I would say, in many of my projects, in many of my deals. Now, nearly 2 decades of experience, I would say, there have been many failures, but each failure has taught me something. And the institute and the examiners do not have this grudges against students. Forget about grudges. They don't even know who the students are. So stop blaming the examiners or stop blaming the institute and find what you have to do with your subject and how do you have to prepare and present. Now, how does this concept work about? This concept work about with the 80-20 principle. We call it a Pareto rules. We call it by many other 80-20 principle. It's 80% of your hard work and 20% of your luck. Yes, luck plays an important role. Which examiner will get your paper for correction, we are not aware. But 80% of the hard work gives you that 20% of the luck. And that is the reason why different people for writing a similar kind of answers get different kind of marks. Okay, so try to understand this principle and also understand that when you are putting something to the examiner should understand. Now, what are the things that is happening in the paper while examinations and what is happening in the paper checking thing? See, when the paper comes to the examiner, one factor, let me clear to you, almost all, I would say, all the persons who are checking the papers today, they are nearly a 10 years experience examiner. You can see the institute guidelines. In fact, the institute ensures that the paper checker has 10 years of experience. So understand a person who is sitting down and checking a paper who background has a 10 years of experience. So people tell me they give me less marks purposely. Actually, examiners do not give you less marks purposely, but the concept that you have noted down on the paper looks that way that the marks has to be of that much. So why I'm not able to get that much of marks? That's a common question, and there is a way for it. I won't say, see, there are no standards for it. There is a one thumb rule that you do this and you will get success and success. Because had that be the case, everyone could have got success. There would not be a failure. But there is certainly certain things to this. Firstly, I would recommend every student who is appearing for any attempt. See, examiners' observations do come. If you see the previous attempts observations, there is a book called Student Secretary or Chartered Secretary, another thing, and also in the CA and CM Institute. They give you a supplement of observations, question by question observations. Read them. That speaks loud in each subject that where the students are not able to understand the subject, not able to write the subject, not able to understand the requirements of the subject. So those observations are very, very helpful for every kind of students that is going for the professional examinations. Yes, it's worth reading it. Second important concept is about practicing. We need to practice. You can read autobiography of any sports person. You can read the biography of any of the person. They practice a lot. And what is this practice about? You read a question and it should come out over here that yes, I know this answer. That is how the practice is. So daily when you are preparing yourself for the subject, if you can, if you can just catch hold of somebody and ask him, okay, you sit across and I need to explain you the subject. That is where you will start. How do you understand the subject? And if you're not finding anyone who you can catch hold of, just sit before the mirror or take a pillow and sit across the bed and explain everything. And as far as possible, I recommend every student, as far as possible, please try to explain in English and keep a notepad with you. The reason is when you put your thoughts in English to the other party and make your sentences and structure your sentences, you sometimes come across or you surprise yourself with such kind of good words that you have used for explanation that you can use in your answers as well. So please try to explain in English to the other party. Why this explanation is needed? Because that shows how well have you understood the subject, because that's what you will be putting in the examination paper. So that's an important thing. Okay. Now, as to writing of your papers, how do you write your papers? What is this? When you get a question paper, let me tell you, question paper is actually a combinations of various sites. And many students, they just follow a stereotype of writing answers. They think that every answer has to be written only in this pattern. No, it's not that way. Students do come and they ask the question like, "Sir, uh, is it? Can you give me a formula that this is how I have to write the answer, or this is how I have to do?" No, it's not that way. Answers writing has a particular skills. Now, some students tell me that should we be doing this way, that stick to the point and we should not be narrating. And some students say, I'm not getting marks because I'm not putting too many things in the answer. But try to understand. See, when you get a question paper, when you get a question paper, if you can check your previous question papers. If you go through the entire question paper, there are certain important things to be understood. Very important things. First, when a question is about comment on certain things, then please stick to comment. Yes, now you have to stick to the law or whatever the question is about. When the question is about true and false, just stick to true and false. When the question is short note, just stick to short note. When the question is distinguish, if you can make a distinction, show the distinguish. If you can't, you could write in paragraphs also. But when the question is about certain things, and that's where you have to be to the point, because that's where you don't elaborate. But when the question says discuss, explain, elaborate, elucidate, so analyze, see, these words are sufficient enough for us to understand that a student has to put in their thoughts. They have to write big answers. The entire question paper is made by the examiner to understand the psyche of the students with respect to the entire subject. So I give you, as an examiner, I give you a direct question. I give you a long question. I give you a short question. So the entire paper is actually of a flow. Okay. Secondly, you can make a choice of a question that you want to answer and you can answer first. But don't divide the sub questions, please. If I make a selection that out of 6 questions, I want to start with a question 6. Yes, I can start with question 6, but please don't divide the sub questions. You can start and keep all the sub questions of question 6 together, question then attempt 4 together, question 3 together, question 1 together, because basically a student does. They answer question 6A and then they go to question 6.1 and then they go to another question. See, that jumbling up confuses the examiner. And remember, examiner is your customer. So don't confuse your customer. Make it simple for your customer. So stick to the questions. If you can answer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's awesome, I would say. But rarely that kind of students do appear. But if you, even if you can't, you can select the best choice of your questions and write. Internally, you can intertwine it. That is, you can 6C, 6B, 6A, that is fine. But all sub questions are together. That has to be seen. Okay. So I take a paper. I know that comment means stick to the point. That is answer this much. But when I elaborate, I'll elaborate for a longer one. That's where I have to fill in there. Another point. While writing theory-based questions, to try and understand, many of the students are writing the answers in the form of pointers. See, that's not the point. You're not to give pointers to the examiners. Pointers are your way of learning things, but not for putting it across. So stop using pointers and give proper paragraphs, give proper answers. That's called answers. Now, students ask me, so can we draw diagrams? I would say there are flowcharts in your own modules. If you look across to your modules, there are particular flowcharts. You can draw those flowcharts. There's no hindrances to that. But see to it that the arrows are properly marked. Okay. Now, when you're putting your answers properly across to everyone, students who's listening, when you're putting your answers, and the answers has to be presentable. When it is a subject, look at the demand of a subject. When it is a law subject, as far as possible, make your law precise. Make your law that a person knows that this is the law about. I often tell to students that you can write in your own words, but don't make your own law. You're not supposed to make your own law. So that is the, you can say, game of a legislature to make the law. You have to make your law precise as far as possible. And that comes with practice. And many ask me, can we write in our own words? See, the funny thing is, when you start reading law, or when you start reading books, or when you start doing tax, or when you start doing accounts, you don't have your own words. You take up those words automatically. It is a practice, and that's actually what makes you. That is, I read a chapter once, I read a chapter second time, and then I catch hold of somebody and I explain the chapter to that person. I write down the important points, and then I see what that practice has led me to. Am I able to present the chapter in the better form? And then my answers. Look at my answers, and that's what I say. At least once in a week, test yourself. Take selected few questions, answer it, check it, that am I able to precisely write it, what is the requirement. Even if your accounts are costing, see how you're presenting it. If that be the manner I'm presenting it, okay, then I know that this is how the paper has to go about, this is how the things has to be working about. So that is the other part of it. Now, when you're attempting your answers, each time pay attention that in a subject of law or a theory base, you are writing the answers in a good paragraph wise with a proper spacing also. Please, as far as possible. See, I know you cannot be doing everything, but you can certainly be doing at least 50% or 60% of the things awesomely. It is possible. Out of 10 chapters, I know I can be doing 6 chapters very good. I'm not leaving 4 chapters. I will do the 4 chapters, but I will be very good in my 6 chapters. And when the question of 6 chapters comes into picture, while writing the answers, I can put the head notes. Head notes, like the capital letters could be in the head notes, and then a paragraph below that. And when the important aspect is coming, okay, I highlight with the pen. So that is coming into picture. That shows the examiner, okay, I know the subject, I'm putting it across to them. And when the question comes from my chapter, I try to explain as much as possible to the examiner. So first try to understand from the past paper what is the division of a paper, what precisely the institute is trying to ask, whether they are asking a to the point or whether they are asking elaborated answers. Then try to understand how elaborately the institute goes into picture. Another thing that students faces in the examination is something like case-based question, especially that comes for the professional or a final level paper across. When you are facing a case-based question, try to understand. Many students, I would say, many students make this mistake. They just repeat the facts of the case and give their conclusions. That's it. But that's not the way. Uh, no examiner is giving you marks for sending the facts. From the question, find out those paragraphs which need a legal explanation. Suppose I find a paragraph, okay, this paragraph has a law connected to it. I mark it with a pencil and there I write, if the given fact so and so, the law on the point of this is your so and so versus so and so, this question was arise. So it is like divide the question in small, small parts, cut it, select it, write it, and explain it. So that's how a case-based things goes into picture. See, don't be under impression that I will be writing the answers in a fashion that it will be standardized. Okay, I take the facts, I take this thing. No, you're trying to explain somebody. Somebody has given you a situation and he needs an explanation. So please don't do this. Don't become a stereotype. You have to invent. You have to be making new things. So don't become a stereotype. Can I explain a case study in the form of a diagram? Yes, you can. But then what student does? They leave the diagram and directly jump to the question, a conclusion. No. When you explain in a diagram, then you put out this is the facts and this is how the law code relates and this is how the answer goes. So it takes time. Yes, it does. See, when you are inventing, when you're putting things, it takes time. And that's what I'm saying. Entire paper, let me tell you, entire paper will have a division of time. Certainly, at some points, you will have to put in more time, and certainly at some points, you have to put in less time. but you have to synchronize those answers where it is to the point, and you have to elaborate. See, a case study is a situational analysis, and you have to analyze it. So it takes time. It has to be elaboratedly given so that you score good marks in it. And a paper checker, he being a human, he has to, he sees that, okay, see, paper checker knows, the examiner knows that this is a student who has learned the subject, he wants to do so and so thing, and that's it. He does so and so thing. He's to try to understand the examiner, the paper checker, is basically a person who's trying to see how well have you understood the subject. And the paper checker is not aware of who the students are. So they just evaluate the answer and give you the marks of that. Okay. The next best thing that you have to do is practice by writing at least few answers a day or in a week, and that will help you a lot. Okay. Now, continuing with the session of writing answers, that is selecting your questions, write your questions properly. In the case-based questions, see that you're putting the facts and the analysis points properly. And then when it comes to certain questions, which are long questions, something like I give you a situation and I give you 10 marks into it. So try to imagine the question may be of 2 lines or 3 lines, but they demand more of it. So try to give it more for that. Another important part I would like to discuss is if you can, then do give it more. Now the point is, many students ask me, sir, but we have been asked to stick to the points. See, when I say do give it more, I'm not talking in the terms of giving more of the answer. Can you attempt one more question? That's what I'm asking. And that comes with the practice actually. See, ideally in a paper, there are 6 questions to be attempted. And there will be 8 questions, but you have to attempt 6 of them. But can you attempt the 7th one to show the examiner, boss, in 3 hours with everyone is struggling for the 6th, I have the 7th one. Does it make a difference? It does. It does. The examiner looks at it, oh God, he has attempted one more question. And if you get into one more question, do you know what? Out of the comparison, suppose I've given you an option of answering 2 and a 2A. You can have an option of answering any one of them. So the entire paper goes this way: 1, 2, 2A, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6A. So ideally there are 8 questions, but you have to answer 6 of them. And there are options in only 2 of them. But what you did, you answered 1, you answered 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there was a 2A, and you answered that 2A. What turned out of this? It turned out that you, as a person, can answer 6 questions in a 3 hours paper, and that 2A is actually a good answer. So what will I do? I have to give you best of 2 and 2A. So in question 2, if you're scoring 12 marks and in a 2A you're scoring 15 marks, I have to give you the best. So that's how it is. When you practice, when you make things this way, that is attempting more, the examiner feels happy about it. Okay, this guy has an ability to go for more. Okay. Another important part, especially in the theory base, because as far as OMR base is there, you just have to marks. So in theory base, another important part. In theory based questions, when you're writing down the answers and when you're attempting the answers and writing all this law on things, as far as possible, put it down in the proper paragraphs. See, just don't let it to be a pointers. Put it down in a proper paragraph as if you're writing your thoughts. For example, if you're writing the director requires it, the director, I've seen some of them, they write director has DIN. No, the director of the company must or should requires a DIN. That shows the sentence. So make the answer, structure the answer in the form of a sentence or something like a paragraph, because that shows that you're writing something. You're not jotting something. So that makes another difference. Okay. Then after understanding the question paper, the kind of answer that you're writing down, amongst the others that are making a choice of the questions, if while writing the answers, whenever you feel like, okay, I'm fumbling, I'm like, what should be the answer? I'm not able to get the answer. In that situation, try to remember what the main points of that chapter. Say, I will never recommend leaving a question and I don't have time for further things. Okay, fine. So, what were the main points of that chapter? And in correlation to this topic, do I remember the topic? So, jot down those main points into that answer so that at least you can explain to the examiner that something I know of this topic. So, if you feel like that I am a student who deserve the marks, at least give me something about it. Okay, and starting a paper with the best question is essential because that the first impression is creating an impression. That's what happens for the students. They start with the first one, when later they go down, they make the answers so weak. It's like they make the choices of the question that way that the examiner feels like, oh, my goodness, he was so good there and he has lost the control over here. Why? It happens because when the time passes, we actually lose the focus. It's 3 hours, it's 180 minutes, and we are starting losing the focus. That is why, while practicing and while writing the answers, when you're coming to the last 1 hour, keep those questions where you have to stick to the point. So, for example, if I have to do analytical things, I can keep it in the first hour because that gives me an option. I have a background timing to that. But if I have to do my analytical answers in the end, so I don't have time. I don't have the elaborated time. So what will I do? So better I keep my short notes. Better I keep my those things. So in the end, what happens? The examiner still sees, okay, you are writing precisely to the point. And yes, and you still score marks because short notes requires only a short note. So try to understand when you have to keep a bigger question and where, and when you have to give precise question and where. So that way you can change the timing as and where required. Because in short notes you can streamline your answers, but in long answers you have to give a long one. Okay. Then coming to another skills, while writing the answers, when you feel like I'm not sure about what to do, I feel like, oh, should this be done or should that be done or what should I be doing? So in that event, as far as possible, in that event when you're fumbling, just have a close your eyes and breathe. I'm not kidding. Certain times when I used to fumble up, when I used to give up on, it's like I'm standing in the court, I'm forgetting a provision of law and provision of law, and I know that this thing could be coming up next and he will be asking this. So what I used to do, I just close my eyes, calmly sit down, do some breathing exercise or stop breathing for some time. And suddenly it pops out. It pops out. Okay, huh, this is the one. Okay. From the pops out thing, I have to mention one thing. While writing the answer, suppose I started with the question 6C and I'm writing 6C. Then question 6 got over. Now I'm on question 1, I'm attempting question 1 and I'm writing. Suddenly of that question 6C will pop up. And there was another point. If you ever get this kind of feelings or this kind of thoughts, I would say take a pencil immediately on the top of your answer sheet on the question 61 where you're writing. Write down your points over there because a thought comes this way and it passes this way. So just write it over there. Don't jump from to that answer, but write it this way. Once you've written this answer, that is by 1C got over, one question number 1 got over. Now going back to question 6C, now I have to see how do I use these thoughts. So that is the reason while writing the answers, I suggest that when a person is writing the answers, they have to leave sufficient lines between them. It's like I write question number 6C, I'm writing point 1, I put a head note, I put the paragraph, I leave 1 or 2 lines, I put the second, I leave 1 or 2 lines, I put the third. Because leaving those lines not only make my answer presentable, but give me a room to put my thoughts again into it if I have to. So that becomes another added point. So if that thought comes into my mind, okay, here, this was a thought, and there was space for that, I can write. In other words, hence, therefore, does it means. So this gives me an opportunity of putting my thoughts across to the examiner in a better fashion. And I can be coming up with better answers also. It happens. It happens when we are dealing with the other subject, I'm popping on the other one. So I'm answering question five, suddenly question one clicks me over there. So it happens. So it's better to write it down with a pencil. And yes, don't forget to scrub off the pencils because it should not go to the examiner stating that he was trying to show to somebody. So just rub it off with whatever written by pencils. Okay. Then in subjects of practical, as far as CS Institute is concerned, the practical subjects are OMR based. That is optional marking with the schemes, whereby you just have four options and you have to mark A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Okay. I generally suggest when you have this kind of examination pattern, where optional marking, because while doing my CFA, I have done this kind of thing. So when you have this kind of optional pattern, you have 100 questions, and then of this 100 questions, you have to write it down. I recommend to the students that don't take a pen and just start marking ABC, ABC rightly over there. Don't do that. Read the question, and if you fall on the answer, take a pencil and beside the question write down A, write down B, write down C. Then go to the next question. See, sometimes it happens. I'm answering question number 11 and then I recollect question number 2B was incorrect. Oh, that I could have changed. But if I mark it down with a black pen or something in B, then I will never be able to change. But I've written with my pencil, then I can rub it off and I can write it B. Once you have completed your 2 hours, I repeat, once you have completed your 2 hours, thereafter, in the remaining 1 hour, whatever A, B, C that you have done, just put a scale across this. Just put a scale and mark it A. Scale, mark it B. Why am I saying putting a scale? See what I've seen over there. When we are in a hurry, the question number 11 answer was A, but I'm marking question number 11 answers as B because in question number 10 it was D. So I could not see what is correlating. So I'm marking that way. So please don't do that way. When you have a ABC, first, I get a paper. I have to select at least 50 questions, which I should be very good about. I can select more, no doubt for that. Every four questions, 1 mark is deducted. So that means if I select 16 more questions, the 50 plus 16 makes it 66. But if all that 16 questions are wrong, only 4 marks will go. So try to understand. I take a paper. I know I have 100 questions. I know I will not be attempting 100 because negative marking is there. Won't be attempting 100. So I have to select certain 50 questions or 60 questions of my choice, which I'm go through very well versed. I take a pencil and I don't do that black thing inside. Please don't do it with a pencil. You have to do it with a black pen preferably. And then on the side of it, where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is written, if I find an answer, I just write it with a pencil. Once I'm through with that 60 questions or 70 questions, whichever I know, I keep the scale and I mark it out black with that. So that way it helps me that if I have to change my answer, I can do it easily. And when the paper ends, rub this pencil thing out. Yes, rub this thing out. So it's properly marked. So what actually it helps? It helps you with the respect that you can change your answers, you can suitably amend the answers wherever it needs. You need that flexibility. And you're not in a decisive mode each occasion. Secondly, when you're attempting a OMR paper, remember there is something called as gut feelings. And that gut feelings is an awesome thing. When you read a question and you feel like without looking at the option, the answer is this, and then you see in the option the answer is that, you got the answer. That gut feeling speaks up. And one thing I suggest for every kind of student who is doing an OMR, please have at least one reading of your module. Well, I'm not learning, reading of your module well, because the examiner puts a question from the module. Many of the options are given in the module. We have studied all bits of notes, everything. But when you have one reading of your module well, you know that this is how it is. And when I say well reading, you should know that the flow of the chapter, it starts this way. This is the first part. This is the second part. This is the third. So what happens? It clicks me over here. Okay, this is the first part. This is the second part. So I know where an option is coming into picture. If I don't know the answer, I know the nearest option to the answer. So please read your module well. That is one of the essential things. Okay. That was the OMR part, and the other one was, just excuse me. The other one was here that is theory related questions that we face. As far as practical related questions, CS Institute does not have, but CA and CMA Institute has. So when you're dealing with a practical question, again the suggestion is find out the best questions that you have in your hand and start with that one. But I would rather let a professor who is a CA or a CMA to do more discussion on that, because that is the area of practice also, because my area of practice is correlating to theory a lot. Okay. That apart, I would rather recommend, excuse me. Here. So I will rather recommend that when you're studying, carry a pad, a notepad with you, or a small book with you. See, we get thoughts many times, many kind of thoughts. Write it down, jot it down, because these thoughts give me a direction. But that thought should be in correlation to your subject. If you start looking at your thoughts, you will feel all the absurdities of the world is going out there. So if you find those kind of absurdities, okay, and if you can't put it down to any other place, okay, write it down somewhere else, or I will do this. I will call this person this time, this time, this time, that is part. But when you have your thoughts, which is in correlation to the subject, write it down. Think about it. Okay, how do I improvise this answer? How do I improvise this subject? How do I put it across to the examiner who I haven't seen? So these things are important for us. And if we can put it down well to the examiners, we can deserve good marks. And examiner as such, being a customer, if he understands the subject, he will give you marks. So don't be under any kind of wrong impression that the examiner wants to fail you. That's what I started with, and that's what I'm saying it again. Examiners don't have the intention to fail you. It's only that the students are not learning from their failures. And I'm saying, please do that practice again and again. Okay? And every day as far as possible. Give yourself good thoughts and give yourself visualization. As if I'm sitting in an examination hall and I'm writing my answers and I'm able to complete my paper. Visualize that. Does it help? It helps incredibly. It feeds over here. You can imagine a classroom, you can imagine this, and you can write. It helps over here. And once you're actually into the classroom, it helps a lot. Okay, so that's what I'm recommending to all the students who would be attempting in the coming August or December, whichever attempt that is applicable to you all. And that apart, if you have any kind of questions, I welcome the questions also. Okay, fine,
Yes,
Shashank, you
yes,
can take it forward.
yes, sir. I request everyone to put their questions in the chat box so that we can take it from there. Sir, I had a few questions which you
Yeah,
had
tell me.
mentioned when I was a student. So, are they still applicable to students? One of the things that you had mentioned was that we should leave two lines after each point. We should leave two lines. So, there were two things. One of the things is that suppose if I forget और किसी और
Hmm.
क्वेश्चन में मैं चला जाता हूँ and then I realize oh वहाँ पे ये लिखना था. So I will
Hmm.
have that space. Also, it looks neat and tidy because since we are writing professional papers, it's a lengthy paper. So it also looks professional. Is it good even
It is
now?
still a good practice, Shashank. This is still a good practice. You can leave two lines, or you can leave one line, or you can make a paper such a way. See, that's what I'm saying. When you see a question, now if I'm writing an analytical question, putting a head note, adding a paragraph, leaving a two line, that is there. But when I'm sticking to a point, that is only a short note. So I have to see short note में as such आधे से ज़्यादा paper तो रहेगा ही, because one page, one question. तो वो आधे से ज़्यादा पेपर तो वैसे ही खाली खाली दिखता है. And as far as possible, as a examiner,
Sir, you got muted.
मैं रिपीट करता हूँ, जहां तक हो सके,
Yes.
as far as possible, आपका पेपर में खालीपन, दैट इज द एम्प्टीनेस, वो जहां तक हो सके न दिखे, वो बेटर रहता है. ओके. प्रेजेंटेशन डेफिनेटली आप कर सकते हो, आप राइट कर सकते हो, आप एक एक लाइन छोड़ के या दो दो लाइन छोड़ के करो, बहुत अच्छा है. और कई लोगों की राइटिंग्स बहुत बुरी होती है, बट यस यू कैन इम्प्रोवाइज योर राइटिंग्स ऑल्सो, नहीं तो आप प्रेजेंटेशन से इम्प्रोवाइज कर सकते हो. ओके, फाइन. व्हाट इज द क्वेश्चन? Somebody has raised a question.
Yes.
Wherever I start writing the generic question, I write and look at the answers of the notes I have, and all the notes are good. All of them have some of the other points that might want put. Make me anxious of whether I'm writing a nice answer or not. Fine. See, once you've written your answer, and once you have noted down your answer, okay, first suggestion, read it loud. Read it loud, as if you're telling to the world enough, this is how it is. So what happens? I have a question. I have the answer. I read it loud. So that reading it loud convinces me that, okay, I'm missing the point. The anxiety is about that. That am I reading it loud? Am I missing on certain points or not? And if you have a good friend, you can share your thoughts. Ask them to listen to this answer. If your friend has any kind of comments, or if you fancy no, you're giving something less or not, you're not able to put too much of it, that is the point. Then you can correct your answers. So I would rather recommend, always, that's why I say take support of good friends who can sit together. We ask each other questions, we give explanations. It helps a lot.
One more question, sir.
Okay, sir, in company law subject, company law subject, answer is compulsory to case studies. If yes, then please give one written example of how to write case studies. See, as far as how to write case studies, many people do ask me how to write case study. I would rather recommend Institute has given you that guideline answers. Download it. You can see for yourself how the Institute has written the case studies. Remember one thing, how you write case study is not important to the institute or the examiner. How the institute writes case study is important to the examiner. So look at the way institute has given a detailed case study. See, it depends. Sometimes I put the case study in a manner whereby I just put everything together. That is, as in so and so versus so and so case, without leaving a space, I have to write the entire answer. That is one of the way of putting case study. The other way is in so and so versus so and so, there was a critical decision which was decided by Supreme Court of India. That Supreme Court of India is so and so. The facts on the correlation. So ये जो structuring है answer का, that is how do you write your case study or a case name or ये सब, ये डिपेंड करता है आपकी खुद की अंडरस्टैंडिंग पे, उस ओकेजन के ऊपर. मैं हमेशा रिकमेंड करूंगा, आई ऑलवेज रिकमेंड एवरी स्टूडेंट, go through the institute guidelines. You will see how the institute has put the answer in the case study, and आप खुद समझ में आएगा. And don't develop a stereotype formula के case study का ऐसे ही आंसर लिखने का है. केस स्टडी में केस लॉ अगर आपको आता है, दैट इज सो एंड सो वर्सेस सो एंड सो, तो लिखिए, गलत मत लिखिए पर लिखिए. And if you are not aware that who is the plaintiff and who is the defendant, okay, in one of the landmark case, in one of the notable case, in one of the case which was decided by Supreme Court or High Court, you can start with this way. So it's not that I lose a marks by not writing the plaintiff and the defendant's name, but it's that I do gain something when I put it down in a name of a plaintiff or the defendant. Should I be writing that or should I know that? It actually depends on each question that is put across to me and what I know about it. So institute के guideline answers को download कीजिए, समझिए उसको और उसके हिसाब से आंसर लिखने की कोशिश कीजिए. That is the landmark thing. Okay? Yeah, what was the other one?
Next question is, so how to keep the structure of answers in the journal? So I guess he's asking for all the subjects.
See, answer. That's what I'm saying. What exactly you're doing? You're making yourself stereotype. You're making yourself like, सर मुझे एक स्ट्रक्चर दे दीजिए, मैं सारे आंसर्स को इस ढांचे में, इस स्ट्रक्चर में बिठा दूंगा. यस. एंड उसी वजह से आप मार्क्स लूज करते हो, क्योंकि आपने उसको उस ढांचे में बिठा दिया और एग्जामिनर को क्या लगता है, ये तो एक ही जैसा आंसर लिख रहा है. सर क्यों ऐसा होता है कि मुझे 5 में से 1, 5 में से 2 दिया जाता है, जबकि मेरे दोस्त को हर आंसर के लिए अच्छे मार्क्स मिलते हैं कई कई जगह पे. क्यों? क्योंकि आपका दोस्त को स्ट्रक्चर नहीं मालूम था, इसलिए उसने हर आंसर को अलग अलग तरीकों से लिखा. सो डोंट मेक योरसेल्फ स्टीरियोटाइप इन अ स्ट्रक्चर. इसलिए मैं बोला कि आप ये समझो कि शॉर्ट नोट्स है कि ट्रू एंड फॉल्स है कि क्या है, उस स्ट्रक्चर से बाहर निकलो और उन उन चीजों को समझो कि मुझे कैसे उसको करना है. ओके. दूसरा क्या था?
Do we have to answer? Do we have to answer the name of the case law if asked in the question?
Yes, if you know the case law, that's what I said. Plaintiff या defendant का नाम अगर आपके पास है, so please लिखो. अगर नहीं है तो मैं बताया, in a notable case, in a Supreme Court case, in a landmark case, आप ऐसे भी start कर सकते हो. अगर आपके पास content importantly है, वो बहुत जरूरी है. The content is the king. That needs to be there. Okay. What is the next one?
Sir, I have cleared CS Executive Group 2 after getting failed 2 times. I have scored 65 marks in securities law without writing practice. So if I do 20 to 30 minutes writing, will it work as last time I did mistake by not doing the practice of writing?
Definitely it will work. Each day, each week, if you do some amount of writing and some amount of testing yourself, it has great importance for you. I'm not kidding. ये practice है. What do you think the cricketers, the footballers, the badminton players do every day? 6 घंटे की practice. वो ये तो नहीं बोलते हम लोग practice की book पढ़ लेते हैं सर. बुक पढ़ने से तो होने नहीं वाला. एंड दैट इज हाउ इट इज. आपको कम से कम दिन का 1 या 2 घंटा देना पड़ेगा अपनी राइटिंग स्किल्स को डेवलप करने के लिए, अपने थॉट्स को पुट डाउन करने के लिए और ये देखने के लिए कि आप अपने थॉट्स को वेल जज कैसे करवा पा रहे हो. इसलिए दूसरों को हायर करो, भले वो सब्जेक्ट के अननोन हो, लेकिन मम्मी पापा भाई बहन या कोई भी दोस्त, उसको पकड़ के लाओ. इफ यू रीड दिस, हाउ डू यू फील अबाउट इट? दैट्स द एग्जामिनर. एग्जामिनर ने आपको नहीं देखा, बट इफ दे रीड इट, हाउ डू यू फील अबाउट इट, एंड देन दे गिव यू मार्क्स अबाउट इट. Okay. Yeah, tell me what's next.
So the next question is, what if we really don't know the answer of a particular question, but we want to attend it?
That's what I said. अगर आपको आंसर नहीं मालूम तो उस टॉपिक के कोरिलेशन में या उस कोरिलेशन में आपको कितनी चीजें याद है. डोंट लीव द क्वेश्चन, एटलीस्ट पुट समथिंग ओवर देयर. आप अपने हिसाब से पैराग्राफ स्ट्रक्चर कर सकते हो कि ये लॉ में ये पर्टिकुलर सेंस में ये सब चीजें हुई थी और मेरे साथ और ये चैप्टर की रिक्वायरमेंट ये है. एटलीस्ट पुट समथिंग ओवर देयर, बिकॉज एग्जामिनर अगर देखता है कि आपको कई चीजें मालूम है और कुछ चीजें नहीं मालूम है, पर ठीक है आपने उसके बारे में कुछ लिखा, as out of generosity also examiner gives you marks. Okay, ठीक है यार, he has attempted something, but this student deserves the marks because he has attempted good questions. So वो देता है marks. Examiner आपके खिलाफ कोई grudges लेके नहीं बैठा है. But the only fact is you don't attempt or you write. मतलब जो आपने पहले आंसर्स लिखे वो भी कई स्टूडेंट्स इतने बकवास लिखे होते हैं that the examiner feels like he is not able to understand the subject. In fact, आप चाहिए सीरियसली मैं बोलता हूँ, आप डाउनलोड कीजिए पिछले अटेम्प्ट का एग्जामिनर्स फीडबैक एंड आप देख सकते हो हर क्वेश्चन के एनालिसिस में उसने कैसे कैसे लिखा है that why the hell you are not able to write the answers properly. Okay, yeah, tell me what's next.
So the next question is, every time we have a case study to answer, should we start with the case law or with the principle and then put the briefing of the facts or the facts?
You can start with anything. You can start with anything. आप इंस्टीट्यूट के गाइडलाइन आंसर्स के देखोगे ना, तो कभी कभी वो डायरेक्ट लॉ से शुरू करते हैं, फिर केस लॉ लेके आते हैं, फिर कभी वो प्रिंसिपल्स लेके आते हैं, फिर उसके बारे में कभी वो केस लॉ का साइड करते हुए लेके आते हैं. इंस्टीट्यूट आपसे बोल रहा है डोंट बिकम स्टीरियोटाइप. इंस्टीट्यूट आपसे बोल रहा है आप हमारे आंसर्स को देखो और उस तरीके से स्टार्ट आप कर सकते हो. तो ऐसा नहीं है. आप पॉइंट इज उस मोमेंट पे आया हुआ क्वेश्चन को आंसर करने के लिए आपको तभी मोमेंट पे समझना होगा और इसीलिए आपको प्रैक्टिस चाहिए. आप एक पर्टिकुलर प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस, एग्जामिनेशन क्वेश्चंस को देखो, आपको तभी समझ में आने लगेगा ओके दिस मोमेंट पे ये क्वेश्चन आया है तो मेरा आंसर इस तरीके से हो सकता है। ये आपको खुद स्ट्रक्चर करना होगा। डोंट डिपेंड ऑन मी और एनी अदर पर्सन टू गिव यू दैट स्ट्रक्चर। वो तुम्हें हर क्वेश्चन के आंसर के लिए अपने आप को करना पड़ेगा। दैट इज अ प्रैक्टिस, दैट्स व्हाट इट इज। हाउ कैन यू टेल मी, हाउ डू यू नो, कैन यू टेल, आस्क अ सचिन तेंदुलकर दैट हर आने वाली स्विंग बॉल को मुझे फ्रंट फुट पे ही खेलना है? दैट टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर कमिंग, दैट हर चीज को मुझे ऐसे ही करना है? नो, every ball is a different ball, every game is a different game, and every question is a different question. So वो तुम्हें खुद पे ही समझना होगा। Okay?
So
Yeah.
the next question is, in OMR based questions, how many questions should one attend because there is negative marking?
At least 50% out of 100. If you attempt 50, okay, and if you, even if you get negative, see, try to understand. 50% अटेम्प्ट करोगे तो कम से कम 40 तक पहुंच पाओगे। अगर आप 60 अटेम्प्ट करोगे तो और भी अच्छा है। ये याद रखना, 4 क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग हुए तो आपको 1 मार्क कट जाएगा, और अगर आपका एक भी क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग हुआ तो 0.25 करते हुए 1 मार्क उधर भी कटेगा। सो एटलीस्ट जहां तक हो सके 50% तो कम से कम अटेंड करो। 60 गया, 70 गया, अच्छी बात है, उसमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, बट वो अटेम्प्ट करो जिसमें आपको थोड़ी बहुत अश्योरेंस हो या थोड़ी बहुत याददाश्त में हो कि ये मुझे आता है। जस्ट अटेम्प्ट करने के लिए अटेम्प्ट मत करते जाओ। ओके, 40 तो मुझे मिनिमम अटेम्प्ट करने हैं बिकॉज 40 इज व्हाट आई नीड फॉर पासिंग आल्सो। 45 इसलिए अटेम्प्ट करने हैं क्योंकि मुझे एग्रीगेशन में नहीं फंसना है। 50% इसलिए तक जाना है ताकि मैं अपने दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स को भी हैंडल कर सकूं, एंड देयर आफ्टर आई कैन गो फर्दर। तो ये डिपेंड करता है आपको कितने अटेम्प्ट करने हैं। आप उस क्वेश्चंस को देखो, आपको कितना आता है, उसके ऊपर अटेम्प्ट करो। बोलो। एंड
So continue.
yeah, what is the next question?
Okay. Since the exams are postponed, do we need to cover amendments 6 months prior to the revised
नहीं
examination
नहीं,
date?
प्रेजेंटली इंस्टीट्यूट ने ऐसा कोई गाइडलाइंस जो अभी लेटेस्ट सर्कुलर में दिया है वो ऐसा नहीं दिया है। पोस्टपोनमेंट इज अ कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ द ओरिजिनल अटेम्प्ट। तो इसीलिए इंस्टीट्यूट अभी भी आपको दिसंबर 19 तक के ही क्वेश्चंस पूछने पे है। दे आर नॉट टेकिंग यू टू द अमेंडमेंट 6 मंथ्स बिफोर द एग्जामिनेशन। वैसा अभी तक इंस्टीट्यूट ने कोई गाइडलाइंस या क्लैरिटी नहीं दी है, एंड इतना इनजस्टिस इंस्टीट्यूट करने नहीं वाली। तो आप दिसंबर तक के लिए श्योर रहो, वो आपको आना चाहिए, बिकॉज दिसंबर अटेम्प्ट के लिए फिर क्या पूछूंगा मैं।
Okay.
Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
the next question is, if we write distinguish in paragraph form, will it help to score more marks in exams?
See, paragraph or a T-shaped form of distinguish, that depends on the content in the distinguish rather than the form of the distinguish. So आप पैराग्राफ फॉर्म में लिखते हो चलेगा, अगर आप टी शेप फॉर्म में लिखते हो चलेगा, बट आप कंटेंट में क्या लिख रहे हो वो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है रादर देन द फॉर्म। ओके,
Okay.
नेक्स्ट।
So how to prepare for CS professional new syllabus open book subject?
सी, ओपन बुक सब्जेक्ट्स की प्रिपरेशंस के लिए आपको बेसिकली ये देखना होगा कि हर एक केस स्टडी को आप कैसे एनालाइज करते हो, एंड उसके लिए बेस्ट तरीका ये है आप उस केस स्टडी में से एक आध कोई क्वेश्चन ढूंढ के निकाल लो, समथिंग लाइक अ 1 लाइन क्वेश्चन और अ पैराग्राफ बेस्ड क्वेश्चन, एंड आस्क एनी ऑफ योर नोन फ्रेंड और समबडी कि आपको वो क्वेश्चन पूछे, और आप उस क्वेश्चन के बारे में उस बुक से ढूंढना शुरू करो, उसके केस लॉ, उसके चीजें फिर ढूंढना शुरू करो, तो आपका काम बचेगा। मतलब इफ आई आस्क यू वन ऑफ द क्वेश्चन लाइक एक कंपनी के डायरेक्टर को रिजाइन करना है और उसने रेजिग्नेशन टेंडर किया था, कंपनी ने एक्सेप्ट नहीं किया, तो क्या ये रेजिग्नेशन अपने आप में वैलिड रहेगा? आंसर फ्रॉम द केस लॉस। तब आप केस लॉ ढूंढना शुरू करो, तो देखो ये सिचुएशन अपने आप बन गई। तो इसी तरह उस क्रक्स को निकालो, किसी को भी पूछो उसके बारे में पूछने के लिए, एंड इट हेल्प्स। क्लियर? इसी तरह अगर आप ओल्ड कोर्स के हो या न्यू कोर्स के हो, मेक्स नो डिफरेंस। आप अपने सब्जेक्ट के कंटेक्स्ट में, अपने चीजों के कंटेक्स्ट में किसी से भी पूछो कि मुझे उसके बारे में कोई भी चीज पूछ ले, एंड ओपन बुक के लिए ओपन द बुक एंड देन स्टार्ट सर्चिंग। या किसी को बोलो मुझे एक छोटा बड़ा टेस्ट पेपर बना के दे दे, तो उसके बारे में ढूंढ के आंसर करने की कोशिश करो। यू डोंट एक्चुअली नीड अ केस लॉ, यू नीड अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ टू आंसर। ओके, Tell me the next one.
How to prepare for open book CCM subject of old syllabus.
That is same. मैंने पहले भी बताया था, ओपन बुक के लिए सीसीएम हो या कोई भी दूसरा सब्जेक्ट हो, आपको प्रैक्टिस करनी पड़ेगी। सीसीएम के लिए आपके पास एफएम के काफी सारे नोट्स वगैरह पड़े होंगे, डू दैट। एंड उसके साथ साथ सेबी के जो चेंजेस आते हैं, डू दैट। प्लस सेबी के लिए मैंने पहले भी बोला था और अभी भी आप मार्केट अपने सीएस की जो नई मॉड्यूल्स है वो रेफर कर सकते हो। दैट इज एक्चुअली हेल्पफुल बिकॉज इस बार सिक्योरिटी लॉ को सीएस इंस्टीट्यूट ने न्यू कोर्स में काफी इन डेप्थ ले लिया है, सो दैट वे हेल्पफुल हो जाएगा। प्लस अपना इंडेक्स खुद बनाने की कोशिश करो, मतलब उस पे मत रहो कि ये कर देगा वो कर देगा, अपना इंडेक्स खुद बनाने की कोशिश करो एज फार एज पॉसिबल बिकॉज इट विल हेल्प यू अ लॉट। आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा कौन सी चीज कहाँ पे है। ओके, या व्हाट इज
So
द
we have the same question for IPR old syllabus, open book. How to prepare for IPR?
हाँ, दैट्स व्हाट आई आंसर्ड कि आईपीआर चाहे ओल्ड बुक हो या न्यू बुक हो, आप क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ ढूंढ के निकालो। हर एक चैप्टर के पीछे क्वेश्चन दिया हुआ है यार, तो गिनती के क्वेश्चन उठाओ, कहीं से भी क्वेश्चन उठाओ और उसके बारे में रिसर्च करना शुरू करो, आपको अपने आप आंसर मिलेगा। और रिसर्च के लिए आप गूगल को भी इंक्लूड कर सकते हो। तो इससे मालूम पड़ता है, इट ओपन्स योर माइंड। ओके, अच्छा ये भी चीजें हैं, ये भी चीजें हैं, तो आप राइट इट डाउन एंड देन यू कैन कैरी योर प्रिंट आउट्स और व्हाटएवर नोट्स दैट यू हैव टू द एग्जामिनेशन हॉल। ओके,
Do we get marks if we only draw diagram without elaborating it in detail for a particular question in exam?
I doubt. Only diagrams will not give you marks, but if these are flow charts as per the institute module, then you may get marks. इंस्टीट्यूट के मॉड्यूल्स में काफी सारे फ्लो चार्ट्स हैं, तो फ्लो चार्ट्स की बात अलग हो गई, डायग्राम्स ओनली बनाने से मार्क्स नहीं।
Okay. Next question is, how do we prepare for the FTFM old syllabus theory questions?
सी एफटीएफएम के थियोरी क्वेश्चंस का बेस्ट अभी चीजें ये है, एक आपके पास अगर स्कैनर है और पास पेपर्स है, वो सारे आपको करने हैं। प्लस सेकंड, आपके जो भी मॉड्यूल है उसके पीछे थियोरी क्वेश्चंस दिए हुए हैं, वो सारे करने हैं। और पीछे दैट इज लास्ट पेपर में टेस्ट पेपर्स के क्वेश्चन दिए, वो सारे करने हैं। एटलीस्ट उतना तो करके जाए, बिकॉज इंस्टीट्यूट के पेपर्स को अगर आप एनालाइज करोगे तो उन्होंने काफी हद तक वो क्वेश्चंस रखे हैं या रादर वो टॉपिक्स रखे हैं ताकि स्टूडेंट्स उसको आंसर कर पाए। द चेंजेस इन द थियोरी बेस्ड क्वेश्चन इज वेरी नॉमिनल बट नॉट मेजर, सो आप वो कर सकते हैं। या
So I have a few questions now, which you had taught me. I'm not sure if they still stand strong right now. So
या
one of
tell
the
me.
things you had mentioned was that we should start our paper from right. आपने ये बताया था कि हम लोगों को सामने वाले का, क्योंकि वो कस्टमर है हमारा, हमें सामने वाले का काम आसान करना है, because we have to understand that he is a professional who is also doing his professional work while he is going to check the papers. So maybe he'll check the paper in the morning or maybe he'll check the paper in the evening. So हमें उसका काम आसान करना है. So you had once told us that we should start the paper from our right and left. So they get the whole picture in the same page. And when he turns, suppose if I've written it for 4 pages, then he again flips the page and again he can see the whole picture on the same page itself.
Yes, it is possible. See,
Yeah.
those things, and still today, these are certain kind of suggestions जो over the period एक एक करके समझ में आए। आप right से start करो, अपने आंसर को प्रेजेंट करके पूरे एक पेज पे लेके आओ, that is also one of the awesome way.
Yeah.
अगर आपको नहीं समझ में आता, okay, you started from the left, you take it to the behind, that is also one of the awesome way of putting the answers. But यहाँ पे अभी इंस्टीट्यूट क्या हो गया है, अभी इंस्टीट्यूट कंटेंट पे ज्यादा चला गया है बिकॉज एग्जामिनर्स जो हैं वो बढ़ गए हैं और नंबर ऑफ पेपर्स जो पर एग्जामिनर है वो कम हो गए हैं।
हाँ.
तो एग्जामिनर है ना डीप में पढ़ रहा है, आई एम नॉट किडिंग दिस। एग्जामिनर के आपको, मैं नहीं जानता, कई लोग जानते हैं कि एग्जामिनर के पेन के मार्क दिखते हैं कई जगह पे, यानी उसने हर लाइन पे पढ़ा है। तो उस वजह से एग्जामिनर के पास गिनती के 20 पेपर है पर वो पढ़ता है और फिर वो मार्क्स दे रहा है। तो कंटेंट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है। ओके, और आपने इफ यू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द राइट एंड गिव इट ऑन द टू साइड, ऑसम दिखता है बिकॉज एग्जामिनर का काम इजी हो जाता है। तो दैट इज आल्सो गुड वे,
which is also a way to get a few marks more maybe.
Yeah, definitely it helps because it makes my work easy, so I give you marks. Okay, now I know.
So there is a question from a participant, should we practice all subjects scanner for executive new syllabus?
You can practice for the new syllabus or the old syllabus. You can practice. That's what I'm saying. अगर आपका एक chapter complete हो जाता है, so after completing a chapter, select few certain questions either from the scanner or whatever you want to, and then you can write it down. So इससे आपको एक practice ये मिल जाती है कि मेरे को लिखने का skills आ गया. Okay. Next question.
One more from the participants. Sometimes in a concept in theory subject, concepts are explained in very long format, so it becomes difficult to understand the concept. Then we can't write answer to that particular question. Kindly help.
See, जब concepts are explained to you in the long format, what you have to do is synchronize it. वहां पे synchronicity, actually हमारे पूरे मॉड्यूल के लिए synchronicity चाहिए. ये एक अलग नेचर का गेम है. गेम ऐसा है, हमें पूरे मॉड्यूल को सिंक्रोनाइज करना है, लेकिन आंसर लिखते समय हमें पता होना चाहिए कि कब हमें उसे इलेबोरेट करना है. सिंक्रोनाइज करने का तरीका ये रहता है, जब मैं किसी का स्टोरी को पढ़ता हूँ, मैं हैरी पॉटर की पूरी बुक पढ़ लेता हूँ या किसी दूसरी बुक या पूरी कंपनी लॉ की बेयर एक्ट एंड मॉड्यूल पढ़ लेता हूँ, तो इस केस में मैं साइड में अपने हाथ से या नोट पैड में अपने हाथ से अपने वर्ड्स में अपने तरीकों से लिख लेता हूँ. एक बार आपने बड़े सारे कंसेप्ट को पढ़ लिया, अब वही कंसेप्ट को बिना देखे दूसरे को आपको एक्सप्लेन करना है. सोचो, बिना देखे आपको दूसरे को एक्सप्लेन करना है, तो आप सारा तो एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर पाओगे, आप इतना ही एक्सप्लेन कर पाओगे जितनी जरूरत है. तो वो व्हाट इज दैट थिंग दैट यू कैन एक्सप्लेन, वो पता करने की कोशिश कर. अब समझ में आया? तो वो चीजें ढूंढने की कोशिश करो. एंड बाजू में नोटपैड में या किसी चीज में वो लिख के रखो, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड दैट वे यू विल लर्न इट.
So one more thing from my end, you used to tell us that we should not read question number 1 first, because in CS we do not get those 15 minutes extra to read the papers. Though in my December 2012 attempt of finals, we got those 15 minutes, but again now we don't get those 15 minutes. So you had mentioned that we should not read the question number 1 first because it's a compulsory question. वो तो करना ही है, और तब तक हम लोग दूसरे क्वेश्चंस पे डिसाइड कर सकते हैं मे बी, एंड देन वी कैन कम बैक टू क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 एंड यू नो व्हिचएवर इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट, जहाँ पे मुझे लग रहा है मुझे ज्यादा आता है, ज्यादा मार्क्स मिलेंगे, तो मैं वहां से फिर क्वेश्चन शुरू कर सकता हूँ.
ये this idea I built upon from the feedback of the students who have scored good marks also.
Okay.
इसमें one thing was, if you start from reading question number 1, आप जब क्वेश्चन पेपर लेते हो, आप क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 से रीड करना शुरू करो या देखना शुरू करो, तब आपको मालूम पड़ा 1 is a difficult one, then go to the end, क्वेश्चन 6 वगैरह देखना शुरू करो. अगर वो भी आपको डिफिकल्ट लगता है, तो कहीं ना कहीं आपका बिगिनिंग सेंटर से है. तो समथिंग लाइक इट कैन बी क्वेश्चन 3 और 4, और कहीं ना कहीं आपको मिल जाएगा वो सेंटर से. यू कैन स्टार्ट. इट्स लाइक मैं क्वेश्चन 1 पढ़ा, अरे क्वेश्चन 1 ही मुझे आता है सारा, I don't have to bother to go to the next question. I can start from question 1. अगर मैंने question 6 पढ़ा और मुझे मालूम पड़ता है यार पीछे की तरफ पेपर ज्यादा सिंपल बना हुआ है, so I can start with question 6 and then come to the difficult part. It's up to us.
Okay. Sir, the next question from a participant is, what should we carry for an open book paper such as insolvency laws? Does anything comes out of the module?
The chances out of the module is least, but the institute ने खुद ने guidelines में दिया है for open book, carry the bare acts, the module thing, their written notes that you want, and you can carry books as you want. So यहाँ पे अगर open book insolvency का भी होगा, तो आपको आपके notes, आपके modules, आपके bare acts वो सब तो carry करनी पड़ेंगी, because out of the module को तो छोड़ो, out of law नहीं आएगा. So वो तो आप कैरी करो जो जहाँ पे भी आपको आईबीसी दिख रहा है.
Okay. So the next question from a participant, is there any advantage of writing papers in sequence, that is from question 1 to question 6?
Definitely there is an advantage, because that made the examiner job damn easy. The examiner may, out of feeling good, they give you 2 marks extra or 1 marks extra also. And that's called sequencing marks, or arranging the answers in the proper fashion. There is an advantage. आपने कई बार अपने आंसर शीट में देखा होगा 2 marks for rationalization, 2 marks for this, ऐसा करके दिया जाता है. That is an advantageous position.
Sir, one of the things which I also wanted to ask is quality or quantity. What does actually matter?
See, that depends on the question. आज क्योंकि मैंने बताया सिचुएशन चेंज हो गई है, पहले एग्जामिनर्स कम हुआ करते थे, अभी ज्यादा है, तो इसके वजह से क्वालिटी हैज कम इनटू मोर ऑफ अ पिक्चर टुडे. ओके, अभी मैंने वही समझाया, when the question is about elaborate, analyze, explain, elucidate, ऐसे जब क्वेश्चन होता है तो वहां पे क्वांटिटी और क्वालिटी दोनों जाता है, और जबकि क्वेश्चन होता है शॉर्ट नोट, ट्रू एंड फॉल्स कमेंट्स, तो वहां पे अपने को सिर्फ उससे स्टिक अप करना होता है जहां पे अपने को क्वालिटी चाहिए बस.
Okay.
That's why they say stick to the point, stick to the point. That means आप सिर्फ क्वालिटी देके वहां पे रुक जाओ.
Sir, I want to share something with the students, which you had taught us, that whenever we start an answer, so you had mentioned quantity or quality, both are very important. So first point should be something like section. If we are really very sure कि section लिख सकते हैं, तो section, या फिर अगर हम लोगों ने मॉड्यूल में से चैप्टर का नाम लिख लिया, या फिर अगर एक्ट है तो कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 है तो एक्ट का नाम लिख लिया. सो अगर मुझे आंसर नहीं भी आता है या बहुत ज्यादा मार्क्स के लिए पूछा है, मे बी मुझे चार मार्क्स के लिए जितना ही आंसर आता है और इंस्टीट्यूट ने उसे सपोज 6 मार्क्स या 8 मार्क्स के लिए पूछ लिया, तो आई एम बिल्डिंग अप द पॉइंट्स नाउ. सो देन वी कैन राइट द सब्जेक्ट मैटर और द लॉ, जो एक्चुअल जो आंसर है वो लिख लिया. फिर देयर वाज, एंड दिस इज फॉर केस लॉज, आई गेस मोर इट वाज फॉर द केस लॉज. देन वी कैन राइट द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस. तो फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस में आपने कहा था कि क्वेश्चंस में ही ऑलरेडी वो आंसर छुपा रहता है. सो इफ देयर इज मिस्टर सागर मदान सर एंड देन देयर इज शशांक दवे एंड सो कंपनीज देयर, ये सब है. सो वी कैन ऐड दैट. देन देयर वाज क्वेश्चंस इन्वॉल्व का एक पॉइंट था जहाँ पे नीचे मेंशन किया होता था कि सपोज यू आर अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट और अ कंपनी सेक्रेटरी और अ कॉस्ट अकाउंटेंट ऑफ द कंपनी, सो व्हाट वुड बी योर एडवाइस टू द मैनेजमेंट. एंड देन वी कुड इन 2 or 3 लाइंस वी कुड कंक्लूड. सो जब मैं भी आंसर्स लिख रहा था
That's
तो
good. You can do that. That is there.
so,
That is
काफी
still there.
बार जब मैं भी आंसर्स लिख रहा था तो आई फेल्ट कि ये तो शायद एक पेज में ही खत्म हो जाएगा मेरा आंसर्स, और सपोज 4 मार्क के लिए पूछा है या फिर 8 मार्क के लिए पूछा है. सो आई रियलाइज कि जब मैं ऐसे कर रहा हूँ तो मेरा पॉइंट्स भी बढ़ जा रहा है. एंड ऑल्सो ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं कुछ ऐसे ही डाल दे रहा हूँ. इट इज जेन्युइन, दोज आर जेन्युइन पॉइंट्स व्हिच आई वाज पुटिंग. एंड दिस इज,
That's good. मैं
यू हैड
वही,
आल्सो मेंशनड, हाँ.
ये चीजें होनी चाहिए स्टूडेंट्स को रेफर. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. एज अ एग्जामिनर आई वुड ऑलवेज सी दैट आपको सब्जेक्ट की अंडरस्टैंडिंग या टॉपिक की अंडरस्टैंडिंग है कि नहीं. मुझे ये नहीं देखने का कि आप सिर्फ वो एग्जाम में उल्टी करके आ गए, रट्टा करके गए, उल्टी करके आ गए. दैट इट शुड नॉट बी वॉमिटिंग इन द एग्जाम्स.
So one more question, working notes का importance है. Suppose if my answer is wrong. Yes.
डेफिनेटली है. वर्किंग नोट्स के ऊपर भी मार्क्स दिए जाते
हैं. In accounts and tax. So if my answer goes wrong because of maybe the calculation, but working note में formulas और ये सब perfect है तो I'll get marks.
ये देते हैं concept wise. So that is called division of the marks. कि आपके मेन पार्ट के लिए इतना होता है और वर्किंग नोट्स के लिए इतना रखा जाता है. तो डिवीजन ऑफ मार्क्स ऑलवेज इज देयर.
सर, open book exams के लिए I wanted to tell everyone something which I have realized. I also get calls, मतलब रात को 12:30 बजे कॉल आ रहा है, सुबह 9 बजे पेपर्स है, कि उन्होंने अब तक बुक ही ओपन नहीं की है, बिकॉज दे थॉट कि इट्स एन ओपन बुक एग्जाम तो कर लेंगे. एंड देन दे रियलाइज कि कल पेपर है एंड आज मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है. ऑल्सो वन थिंग आई रियलाइज कि वो लोग बहुत सारी बुक्स लेके आ जाते हैं. सो लाइक दे आर गोइंग ऑन अ ट्रिप और बहुत सारी बुक्स लेके आ जाते हैं और उतना टाइम नहीं होता है उनके पास कि इतनी सारी बुक्स को मैं रिफर कर सकूं, मैं आंसर्स ढूंढ सकूं. सो सर, एनी थॉट ऑन दैट?
या सी, ओपन बुक एग्जामिनेशन इज नॉट एन एग्जामिनेशन जो मुझे लास्ट में जाके करना है. वो एक तरह की प्रैक्टिस है जो मुझे स्टार्टिंग से रखनी है. इसलिए मैंने आपको बोला कि अगर आप वीक में एक बार भी एक क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ या 2-3 क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ भी उठा के करना शुरू करोगे तो आपको ये मालूम पड़ जाएगा आप कौन सी मॉड्यूल लेके जा रहे हो. गॉट इट. एंड इफ यू आस्क योर फ्रेंड्स के चल यार कुछ 2-3 क्वेश्चन मेरे को भेज, तो आपको मालूम पड़ जाएगा यार मैं इस व्हेन आई एम आंसरिंग दिस क्वेश्चन तो मुझे कौन सी बुक्स जरूरत पड़ती है. ओके और उसकी लिस्ट जो है वो अभी स्टार्टिंग से ही रेडी रखनी है. ऑन द डे ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन आई शुड नो आई एम कैरिंग दीज बुक्स. और बाकी एक बार अगर आपने उस सब्जेक्ट के कंटेक्स्ट के केसेस पढ़ लिए तो आपको आइडिया आ ही जाता है कि ये सब चीजें मुझे करनी है. Got it? So right on the night of examination, suddenly waking up is not the way of going for open books.
Okay. So one of the questions from a participant, is it a good habit to write conclusion at the end of the answer, or will it be considered as repeating of the points mentioned earlier?
That depends. If I say explain, analyze, or ये सब elucidate, तो conclusion चाहिए. If you ask a short note, you don't need a conclusion. You have to be to the point. You have to be clear in a true and false. True and false में conclusion क्या लिखोगे? The statement is true, the statement is false, you give the reasoning, फिर से वापस लिखोगे the statement is true. So conclusions, that all depends on the marks and the content. अगर बड़ा क्वेश्चन पूछा है, elaborate वगैरह पूछा है, वहां पे conclusions चाहिए. जहां पे आपको to the point रहना है, to the point पे ही खत्म कर देना.
Sir, since you spoke about true and false, I remember that you had mentioned to us कि conclusion reason हमें हमेशा पहले लिखना चाहिए. If the reasons are asked, तो 2 marks के लिए उस time पे होता था, so they used to ask give the reasons also. So हम reasons अगर पहले लिखेंगे और conclusion बाद में लिखेंगे, तो फायदा ये है कि suppose अगर 2 marks के लिए है, तो उन्होंने reason पढ़ लिया, तो he gives you the 1 mark, and then he checks कि conclusion suppose wrong है, जो गलती से भी हो सकता है. And myself when I used to check the papers again and I realized कि मुझे true लिखना था, आंसर true था, और मुझे पता भी था कि true है, और गलती से मैंने fast लिखने में false लिख के आ गया. और अगर मैं conclusion पहले लिख दूंगा, suppose आंसर true था, मैं false लिख के आ गया, तो वहां पे cancel कर देगा, 0 दे देगा, और फिर वो conclusion ही नहीं पड़ेगा. So does it still stand good?
It stands. अगर आपके पास आप लिख रहे हो आंसर को, then you are correct. रीजंस के साथ ही अभी पूछा जाता है, तो you can justify your reason and then give a conclusion. That is fine. No issues for that.
Okay, sir. So one of the questions from a participant: can we only study from modules?
You can always study from modules, and I would say चाहिए साथ में बैरेक्ट रख लिया करो at the max to know what is the latest change. You can always study from modules. ऐसा कोई restrictions नहीं है. In fact, the notes that are made is only made to make you things far more handy, presentable, या आपके लिए थोड़ा understandable हो जाए. बाकी module is the main source of thing because examiner module से paper बनाता है.
Sir, also you had mentioned to us and you also mentioned in the webinar कि हम लोगों को एक क्वेश्चन अगर लिख रहे हैं तो सब क्वेश्चंस भी हमें साथ में लिखने चाहिए. एंड उस टाइम पे हम आपने हमसे ये कहा था कि अगर मैं क्वेश्चन नंबर सपोज 1A है, वो फर्स्ट पेज पे लिखता हूँ, फिर सेकंड पेज पे 1B 1C और 1D लास्ट पेज पे जाके लिखता हूँ, मतलब बीच में मैंने 2 3 सब अटेम्प्ट कर लिया. सो द एग्जामिनर इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेक. सो वो क्या करेगा, वो ऑलरेडी मार्क्स आई गेस पेज के ऊपर लिख देगा, जितना मुझे याद है सर, एंड देन ही विल मेंशन इट ऑन द पिंक स्लिप, एंड देन ही इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज इट. बिकॉज जब वो हम लोग स्कूल में करते थे कि क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 A B C आगे लिख दिया और D लास्ट में लिखूंगा तो टीचर मार्क्स दे देती थी. So is it still good कि सेम अप्लाई होता है अभी? सेम
रूल्स है, गाइडलाइंस. ये एक्चुअली गाइडलाइंस का पार्ट है.
ओके.
इंस्टीट्यूट की गाइडलाइंस बहुत क्लियर है कि सब क्वेश्चंस मेन क्वेश्चंस के साथ रखने हैं. एंड दैट इज व्हाई ऑलमोस्ट एवरीवन टेल्स यू दैट ये बीकॉम टाइप या ग्रेजुएशन टाइप आंसर्स नहीं है. सो प्लीज आप अपने आप को कंफ्यूज मत करो. आप एक क्वेश्चन लो, उसके सारे सब क्वेश्चंस एक साथ रखो. डोंट जम्बल अप. और उल्टा एग्जामिनर का काम और डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है बिकॉज मैं क्वेश्चन 6 के सारे मार्क्स या 5 के मार्क्स दे चुका हूँ, अचानक से फिर क्वेश्चन 5 पर दूसरा पढ़ आएगा.
And then he has to take the permission also. वो marks change नहीं करेंगे because then he has to take the permission.
Examiner does not change the marks. Examiner cannot change the marks. वो एक बार sign हो गया, finish हो गया वो.
Okay. Sir, but we can always, अगर मुझे कोई आंसर नहीं आता है, suppose मुझे 1C नहीं आ रहा है, so I can leave pages. मुझे लगता है कि 2 pages and you can go forward.
और बाद में आप उसको कैंसिल कर सकते हो अगर आपको बिल्कुल नहीं आया था, तो पेज कैंसिलेशन करना मत भूल जाना.
Okay. Sir, a few more questions from participants. How to deal with the fear of practical subjects, text? Is it a valid question today?
Fear of practical or fear of any subject is by practice. In fact, I can share you. I was reading autobiography of Sachin Tendulkar. जब उसको शोएब अख्तर बॉल डालता था with such a speed, तो उसका मुंह पे आएगा, फट जाएगा मुंह. You know what he did? Every day from morning 5 a.m. he used to practice that top shot. Every day 100 shots लगाता था वो. तो इसका मतलब how do you deal with the fear? Practice makes you perfect. Okay, how do you deal with the fear of swimming? Practice makes you perfect.
Sir, one more example of Sachin Tendulkar from my end. So I was reading this book by Prakash Iyer, which is on the secret of leadership, and he mentions Gary Kirsten spoke about Sachin Tendulkar. So a lot of students ask कि मैं कितने chapters पढूं, मैं कौन से important chapters है, जो मैंने भी अपने टाइम में आपको पूछा ही है कि सर कौन से chapters important है, आप बता दो. So Sachin Tendulkar, what he used to do is, अगर उनको पता है कि कल सपोज ओपोनेंट के साथ मैच है, so he will play every kind of bowler. So left arm fast bowler,
Exactly.
right arm fast bowler, a leg spinner, a off spinner, and usually others would play in the net suppose 300 balls, but he was the guy who will play 1000 balls, 100 and
True.
1500 balls, so that भले ही वो दूसरे दिन जीरो पे आउट हो जाए, बट ऑलवेज ही मेड श्योर ही वाज अ वर्ल्ड क्लास प्लेयर. लास्ट के एंड दिनों में भी उनका जो करियर था तब भी ही वाज डूइंग द सेम थिंग, व्हिच इज व्हाई वी ऑल रिस्पेक्ट हिम सो मच.
True, that is true. That's what. So what is important? Everything is important. We can't predict.
Yes. A couple of questions from the participants again. How do we write paper of subject like corporate governance?
See, paper of corporate governance or any other paper, अगर मैं आपसे लॉ पूछ रहा हूँ तो लॉ, नहीं तो आप अपने थॉट्स एक्सप्रेस करो, क्योंकि गवर्नेंस का पेपर ही वैसा है वेयर यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द सब्जेक्ट एंड राइट इट डाउन. मैं आपको पहले ही पूरे सेशन में बोल चुका हूँ, एक चैप्टर पढ़ने के बाद आप ये इस चीज को नोट करो कि आप उसको दूसरे को कैसे एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो. अगर आपको चैप्टर दूसरे को एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो तो आप उससे डील कर सकते हो.
One more question. Is it practically correct to refer entire module a day before the exam?
It depends. If you can refer, then it is different thing. But I would rather suggest stick to that 60% of the module that you can refer very well, or 60% of the notes that you can refer very well, and others, बाकी के chapters के सारे head points और notes अच्छे से पढ़ के जाओ. That is far more important for you. Because छोड़ के कुछ नहीं जाना है, लेकिन अगर मैं पूरा नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, ठीक है, मैं उतना अच्छे से करके जाऊंगा, बाकी का ऊपर से देख के जाऊंगा. नेक्स्ट
सर, एक और बात मुझे याद आई, सिंस द पर्सन हैज मेंशन एंटायर मॉड्यूल पढ़ सकते हैं क्या, यू हैड टोल्ड अस कि ऐसा करो कि अगर एक बहुत बड़ा पैराग्राफ है तो उसमें से आपको क्या समझ में आया, इफ देयर आर सर्टेन वर्ड्स, अगर फॉर्म्स के बारे में कुछ लिखा है तो MGT 14 है तो मैं वहां लिख दूं कि MGT 14 30 डेज, तो मुझे पूरा सेंटेंस नहीं पढ़ना पड़ रहा है. या फिर अगर डायरेक्टर्स का कोई चैप्टर है, सो डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स है जिनका सपोज अपॉइंटमेंट होने वाला है, तो फॉर्म्स और ये सब तो सेम ही रहने वाले हैं, तो मैं क्या करूंगा कि मैं जो सेम नहीं है उतना पढ़ूंगा, और एक बार मैं पूरा एक बार आंसर पढ़ लूंगा जो पर्टिकुलर सेम पॉइंट्स है, फिर दूसरी बार मैं सिर्फ उतने ही पॉइंट्स पढ़ूंगा जितना चेंजेस है डिफरेंट आंसर्स में, तो इतना मैं स्पीड से आई विल मूव फॉरवर्ड इफ आई एम रीडिंग द होल मॉड्यूल. One more question from the participant. Sometimes if we have understood the concept but not able to write answer in precise words, so is it okay if we write in generic words? I guess this is the same question. Can we get marks if we write in generic words?
It is allowed. Even if you write in generic words, it's fine, as far as you're not making the law as your own law. It's fine.
Sir, I want to add a few things which I thought I should speak about. One of the things is कि 100% पेपर कैसे हम लोग कंप्लीट कर सकते हैं. सो आई रियलाइज कि काफी सारे लोग 100% पेपर कंप्लीट करने के चक्कर में वो एक ही क्वेश्चन पे रह जाते हैं. इनिशियली स्पीड से शुरू नहीं करते हैं, क्योंकि इनिशियली मेरे साथ भी आई यूज्ड टू राइट बीकॉम पेपर्स बहुत आराम से, एंड देन यू रियलाइज कि 1.5 घंटा हो गया, 1.5 घंटा ही बाकी है, एंड आई हैव सो मच टू कवर. So what I used to do is, in fact, one of my professors had taught me कि you follow a 60-40 और a 70-30 rule, जहाँ पे 70% जो भी important है आंसर में, important points है, वो आप कवर अप कर लो. If you feel कि भाई इससे, और टाइम लिमिट रखो हर क्वेश्चन के लिए कि इस क्वेश्चन को मैं इतना टाइम दूंगा, उससे ज्यादा 5 मिनट से ज्यादा नहीं देने का. So अगर मैंने 70-30 वो मैं डिसाइड करता था when the question paper was in front of me कि भाई कितना लेंदी है या कितना कम लिखना है मुझे. So suppose अगर मैं 70% है तो 70% important लिख लिया, 30% मैं पेजेस उसके लिए लीव कर दूंगा, and then I will switch to the next question. The idea was to attempt the paper 100%.
100 questions, perfect.
Yes, because a lot of students come and they tell me कि सर 16 मार्क का छूट गया, 20 मार्क का छूट गया, मैं क्या करूँ, and it hurts me a lot because मेरा ऐसा है कि काश मैं एक दिन पहले मिला होता, so maybe I could have helped them. So और सबसे बेस्ट पार्ट ये है कि सपोज 9 से 12 का पेपर है किसी का, या 2 से 5 का है, तो मेरे जैसे पर्सन का 9 से 12 में 11 बजे 11:15 तक पेपर अटेम्प्ट हो जाता था 100%. एंड आई वाज सो रिलीव कि सब हो गया है. नाउ आई ओनली हैव टू फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स, जितना पेज मैंने छोड़ा है, अगर मुझे कुछ आता है तो उतना फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स कर देना है. एंड एवरी टाइम मेरा हमेशा, इवन इन लॉ, 100% पेपर कंप्लीट भी हुआ, अटेम्प्ट तो हुआ ही और कंप्लीट भी हुआ. सो दिस इज वन ऑफ द थिंग्स आई वांटेड टू शेयर. एक सर आपने बोला कि जब भी हम लोग आंसर्स लिख रहे हैं या तो हम लोगों को ऐसे सोचना चाहिए कि सपोज मैं ही उसमें हूँ, उस पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो में. सो आई गेस आपने ही मुझसे ये कहा था कि वी कैन मेक अ ग्रुप ऑल्सो. सो अगर मैं हूँ, सागर सर है, तो सागर सर है वो जनरल मीटिंग पे, आप भी स्टूडेंट है, आप जनरल मीटिंग पे पढ़ेंगे, मैं बोर्ड मीटिंग पे पढ़ूंगा, और 2 दिन में या कल हम दोनों मिलेंगे. आप बोर्ड मीटिंग के बारे में मुझे सपोज समझाओगे, आपको जो मिला है अगर बोर्ड मीटिंग तो बोर्ड मीटिंग, मैं
Yes,
जनरल मीटिंग
yes.
पे
No,
आपको
that is for
हाफ एन
group
आवर
study.
1 आवर बात करेंगे. सर मैंने ये फाइंड आउट किया कि ऐसा करने से हमें सबसे ज्यादा एग्जाम में याद रहता है. कि सपोज अगर मैंने बोला कि 48 आवर्स है या 14 डेज है, जबकि एक्चुअल आंसर था 21 डेज, तो फट से मेरा फ्रेंड मुझसे कहेगा कि नहीं 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 नहीं, ये क्या बात कर रहा है, 21 डेज है. तो जब मैं एग्जाम में जाता हूँ तो मुझे मेरे फ्रेंड ने मुझसे क्या कहा वो हमेशा याद रहता है कि इट इज एक्चुअली 21 डेज एंड
True,
नॉट
true.
14 डेज.
that's for group studies. मैं
ग्रुप
इसलिए
स्टडीज.
बोलता था, अभी भी स्टडी में बोला था, फ्रेंड्स के साथ पूछो, मिलो,
यस
करो.
यस यस. सर वन ऑफ द थिंग्स ऑल्सो दैट आई फाउंड आउट इज कि काफी लोग है ना, फर्स्ट पेज जो पिंक स्लिप रहता है, अगर आई एम नॉट श्योर इफ यू स्टिल चेक द पेपर्स, बट अगर पिंक स्लिप पे वो लोग अपने डिटेल्स नहीं भरते, तो सपोज जैसे हमें सामने वाला हमारा कस्टमर है, उसका काम आसान करना है, तो वहां पे टिक करना होता है कि मैंने ये क्वेश्चन अटेंड किया, या क्रॉस करना होता है ये क्वेश्चन अटेंड किया.
क्रॉस
लोग,
करना है, अभी भी
हाँ
क्रॉस करना है.
हाँ, वो अभी भी करना है, लेकिन काफी लोग नहीं करते हैं. काफी लोग अपना रोल नंबर ठीक से नहीं लिखते, तो वर्ड्स में लिखा है
ये
तो नंबर्स में नहीं लिखा है, नंबर्स में लिखा है तो वर्ड्स में नहीं लिखा है. सो सर मुझे लगता है अगर मैं स्टार्टिंग की डिटेल्स अपनी ठीक से नहीं लिखूंगा तो पेपर चेक तो दूर की बात, सामने वाला शायद पेपर ही नहीं चेक कर पाएगा. अगर मैंने वर्ड्स में अगर अपना नंबर गलत लिख दिया या कुछ भी हो गया है तो आगे का पेपर ही चेक नहीं होगा.
शायद, सी दैट इज, फिर वो इंस्टीट्यूट की कॉल हो जाती है, बिकॉज दैट्स एग्जामिनर इज हेल्पलेस नाउ. वो क्योंकि रेगुलेशन का वायलेशन है.
ओके सर, आई एम डन विथ माइन. आई विल जस्ट टेक 2 क्वेश्चंस, इज इट ओके?
ठीक है, जस्ट लास्ट 2 questions.
Okay. Some writing generic words. For subject like information technology, we cannot write in our own words. Do we have to mug up the subject, especially like IT, which is very technical?
सी इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए मैं खुद एक CIS से हूँ, तो इतना बता सकता हूँ कि इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी का सब्जेक्ट होता है ना, उसको हमेशा डायग्रामेटिक में करता था आंसर. वंस यू रीड इट, मैं क्या करता था, मैं कंप्यूटर बनाता था, उसके अंदर माउस टर्मिनल्स उसके बारे में लिख देता था, एल्गोरिथमिक कंटेंट क्या रहेंगे, इसका क्या रहेंगे, वो ज़्यादा इजी हो जाता है लर्न करने के लिए. इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड, वो ज़्यादा इजी हो जाता है लर्न करने के लिए, बिकॉज लॉगिंग्स क्या लगा, वीलॉग्स क्या रहते थे, फिर हम लोग कनेक्ट करते थे, वीलैन्स क्या है, लैन कनेक्शंस क्या है, डीबगिंग क्या है, बगिंग्स क्या है, ये सब चीजें. तो ये तोड़ तोड़ के उसको पढ़ना होता है. आईटी का सब्जेक्ट मगअप से ज्यादा उसको, इट्स लाइक ब्रेक इट एंड लर्न इट, यू कैन डू इट फास्टर.
सर एक चीज मैं सिर्फ ऐड करना चाहता हूँ, दिस इज द लास्ट थिंग, कि क्वांटिटी अगर किसी को ऐड करना है तो मैं क्या यूज कर रहा था वो मैं सिर्फ बता देता हूँ. कि अगर कंपनी लॉ का पेपर है और मुझे वही बात है कि 4 मार्क का ही आता है और 8 मार्क के लिए लिखना है, तो व्हाट आई यूज टू डू इट, आई यूज टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द एओए, क्योंकि ज्यादातर हर चीजों को बोर्ड मीटिंग से तो जाना ही है. तो मैं देखूंगा कि एओए में है कि नहीं है, नहीं है तो मैं
बराबर.
और ऐसे भी बोर्ड मीटिंग तो बुला नहीं है तो बोर्ड मीटिंग बुलाया, उसका नोटिस भेज दिया, सब सब
ये
मेन
वही वो
पॉइंट्स. हाँ
सेक्रेटरियल ऑडिट्स एंड उसमें भी आज यही चल रहा है
हाँ
ना, दैट चेकलिस्ट इज स्टिल
हाँ.
प्रिवेलेंट.
यस. सो फिर मैंने मीटिंग बुला ली, मीटिंग रखी, फिर किसी को मैंने मतलब ऑथराइज किया कि वो मीटिंग जनरल मीटिंग का नोटिस भेजेंगे. फिर अगर किसी को बीएससी या एनएससी या उनको अगर कोई इंटीमेशन भेजना है तो वो कर दिया, मीटिंग हो गई, मीटिंग में मैंने रेजोल्यूशन पास कराया, उसके बाद अगर फॉर्म है तो फॉर्म मैंने करा दिया. तो आई यूज टू कम फ्रॉम एओए बोर्ड मीटिंग ऐसे करके आता था, सो दैट आंसर भी मैं परफेक्ट लिख रहा हूँ और साथ ही साथ मैं कोई मेरा आंसर भी हो जा रहा है 8 मार्क्स के लिए, सो मे बी 2 पेजेस और 3 पेजेस. सो इज दैट गुड सर?
That is good, that is still good.
Okay.
That is still good. Depending on the question, you can write it down.
Okay, sir. So we'll end the session today. And thank you so much, sir, for covering the 80-20 principle and how should write one question. That you also covered that we should write one question at a time. Practice. We should practice writing answers because that is very important. भले half an hour, 1 घंटा कुछ answers, ताकि लिखने का भी आदत हो. Because I realized कि अगर मेरे पास राइटिंग का हैबिट नहीं था, स्पेशली व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग लॉ, जो मैंने काफी लेट किया, तो राइटिंग का हैबिट नहीं था. सो आफ्टर यू राइट हाफ एन आवर 45 मिनट्स यू रियलाइज कि हाथ पेन कर रहा है क्योंकि राइटिंग का हैबिट नहीं है. thoughts बराबर से मैं लिख नहीं पा रहा हूँ. So a lot of things happened. And sir, also for covering how to attempt an OMR subject and how visualization works. Because I had also mentioned कि feel as if you are writing a paper. You used to tell us कि ऐसे ही सोचो कि क्वेश्चन पेपर मेरे सामने आया है, ये मेरी सीट है, यहाँ पे मैं बैठा हुआ हूँ और ये पेपर आया, सब आंसर्स आ रहे हैं, फटाफट आ रहे हैं, मैंने सब लिख लिया, टाइम पे पेपर खत्म हो गया, सब पेपर ऐसे ही चले गए. फाइनली एग्जाम का जब रिजल्ट का दिन आया उस दिन मैं पास भी हो गया. सो इफ आई कैरी पॉजिटिव थॉट्स विद मी, इनफैक्ट देयर इज अ कोट बाय बॉब प्रॉक्टर. ही सेज if you see it in your mind you will hold it in your hand. And one more from Napoleon Hill, he said whatever of a man, whatever the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So sir, thank you so much for covering all this. And also yes sir.
जाते जाते एवरीवन, अगर किसी को चाहिए कि मैं ऐसा कैसे करूं, तो एक वीडियो देख लेना, 2 मिनट प्रिपरेशन, 2 मिनट प्रिंसिपल्स, आपको यूट्यूब पे मिल जाएगा. तो हमारा जो स्टार्ट होता है ना वो आपको मिल जाएगा, बाकी तो पूरा टेकन केयर है. जस्ट वॉच 2 मिनट प्रिंसिपल वीडियो, यू विल कम टू नो. यूट्यूब पे भी डाल के देखना, मिल जाएगा.
Sir, who has made that video? Is it you?
नहीं, इट्स समबडी एल्स, बट आप देख लेना, इट्स अ कंसेप्ट एक्सप्लेनेशन.
ओके, नहीं क्योंकि वो ढूंढना आसान हो जाएगा, बिकॉज बहुत लोगों ने
यूट्यूब पे डालो, जस्ट राइट 2 मिनट प्रिंसिपल्स, आप गूगल पे डालो, मिल जाएगा आपको.
ओके सर, ओके सर, थैंक यू सो मच सर फॉर एक्सेप्टिंग माय रिक्वेस्ट. It was wonderful to have you.
All the best everyone, I would say. All the best everyone.
Yes, thank you so much sir.
Sure.